Hello, everybody, and welcome to MangaPod. We are a weekly podcast in which we all get together after we've read all or part of a manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. I'm Dodger.
I'm Luke.
I'm Moeka. I didn't interrupt Lou this time. I'm so proud of myself. I performed.
You did it. You did it.
Our fearless leader, Erin, is unfortunately not here today. She went into the ER and has an ovarian cyst. They said it should go away post haste, but she cannot be here today. So please send her some love and hugs, etc. She cannot catch a break health wise. Big kisses. Mwah, mwah, mwah. We will forge ahead in your absence. But yes, today we are discussing Jujutsu Kaisen. We've discussed it once before, so if you would like to check that out, that should be on Happily Erin's YouTube channel. But today we're doing chapters 35 through 70. And the way that this typically goes down is we will read a short spoiler-free description, aka a summary, and then all of us will give you an idea of whether or not we think that you should take the time to read it, a spoiler-free recommendation, if you will, and then we go super hard into spoiler section and we just talk about everything in great detail. So we'll give you a heads up before that happens, and you can peace out. You can take your leave. If you don't want to be spoiled on stuff. But I think it's worth noting, we only did a small section beyond where the anime stopped. So if you've seen the anime, you have basically been through almost everything that we read. But we did go beyond the anime by a few chapters. So keep that in mind. Here's our summary. To save the world from demons, Yuji Itadori may have to become one himself.
It's brilliant.
You're welcome.
It's a great summary. So concise, so precise.
So good. You know, if it's either 4 paragraphs or 1 sentence, I'll go with the 1 sentence. I think that works just fine.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so yeah. Let's go one at a time. Do you guys think people should take the time to read this manga? How do you feel about it?
I'll go first.
Go for
it. Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really fun read. I'll be honest. I'll say that I kind of have the problem that I have with the Demon Slayer manga that I do with with Jujutsu Kaisen, where I was spoiled by a very good anime adaptation.
Yep.
So I want to watch more of this. Reading it isn't bad though. Like I will say that the Jujutsu Kaisen as a manga is a better manga than Demon Slayer.
I agree with that.
So
Yeah.
it's just from an art perspective, it's just really good. So I highly recommend it.
Moeka?
I think if you're in the mood for action and you've read through like One Piece, or you think One Piece is too long or Naruto's too long, I think Jujutsu Kaisen's really good, especially if you're just getting into reading mangas. I really like the characters. I'm very character driven, so like story wise or execution wise, it could be kind of iffy. But if the characters are solid, I still quite enjoy it, and I think that holds for this manga, so I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I really love Jujutsu Kaisen. I would agree with Lou that the anime is so good that there wind up being like fights and scenes that you're really excited to see in the manga, and then you're like, oh, it's done. Like,
yeah.
oh
my god, yeah.
Wow, all right. I mean, that's fine. It was still cool, but God, it was very cool in the anime. But I would also agree that I think the manga is great. I would definitely recommend it. I think that it's really interesting, and I also really love the characters. So, yeah, we all recommend it. I actually have no idea. I did not ask Erin. I actually have no idea how Erin feels about Jujutsu Kaisen. I can't tell you whether or not she recommends it, but we'll ask her. We'll put her on the spot next week. We'll ask her when it's not even a topic of conversation anymore. It'll all work out. But This is your heads up. Feel free to take your leave because we are about to go head first into spoiler section. So again, this will be going up on youtube.com/happily Aaron. You can see it written out there. Yeah. under Charlie Brown Yuji.
Over
Um,
yonder.
but yeah, that's where all of the manga pods wind up. So go check it out there. Or if you'd like to see how we felt about the very beginning, you can also find it there. And that's it. So you got 5 seconds to run away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gojo is God.
Gojo is God.
Yeah, Gojo is ridiculous.
Gojo is
God.
Gojo.
God Joe. Something I forgot to say is keep in mind we only read up to chapter 70. Do not spoil anything past chapter 70. And if you've read a bunch of Jujutsu Kaisen and you're not sure where that is, we're basically like, I don't know, in the middle or 3/4 of the way through like a flashback arc. So yeah, we finished all of this stuff with the demons under the bridge, and now we're in like a flashback thing, which is very interesting. But we didn't finish it. Moeka, did you actually read beyond 70? Did you read to 75?
No, I looked at it and
Okay.
I ended at 70.
Okay, phew. I was like, if Moeka's gonna be sitting there like just holding on to all of this forbidden knowledge and unable to say anything.
No, I think my brain thought 75 because I wanted to read past 70 because I was like, oh no, oh my god, it's a cliffhanger. No.
The good thing though is that since it's a flashback, we know it won't have lasting implications on the story, or shouldn't have lasting implications on the story. I think that helped soften the blow of the fact that we got cliffhangered pretty hard on this.
Yeah, but you're right. There are a couple things about it where you're like, I mean, I know what's gonna happen with X or Y, at least in the far future, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. You are correct about that. But where we started off was kind of at the very beginning of the like two schools fight thing. I'm trying to remember what they call it inside of the manga, but it's like I don't know. The two schools come together to fight some curses, and it's all like a gesture of goodwill between the two Jujutsu sorcerer schools, but guess what? One of the schools is all trying to kill Yuji at the same time. So yeah, we had that whole section, which had a lot of really cool character development inside of it, I think. But it did start off with literally the entire other group trying to kill Yuji.
The murder.
Yeah, what the fuck?
About that section, what I really appreciate about it is that while presenting a lot of cool fights, a lot was done to explain how curse abilities work, and like giving that context for how curse energy moves, and the different impact that manipulating curse energy can possibly have. Yeah. And it also did a lot to scale up, explain Yuji moving up in ability. Like him getting stronger now makes more sense, because there was like we sat through a lesson in which like his growth was explained. So when he holds his own against other cursed, other curses in the future, like it won't feel like an ass pull, basically.
Yeah, I did really like that, and I loved that that we had the whole explanation with the sort of forest spirit curse thing, with them saying like it's weird because this thing is kind of a spirit but is also definitely a curse, to kind of explain its behavior up till this point being I don't know, not as aggressive, you know? And how bizarre, like how all of the other ones might also be kind of spirits, but also kind of curses, because they're all technically like based in nature, even though they are still born of fear of nature. I thought that was all very interesting. But yeah, I don't know how, like, was there a particular part of this section that you thought was really tight, like a cool fight or anything?
I mean, anytime Gojo appeared, it was just like, oh, he's so cool.
He didn't even show up till the end.
I know, but it's just like, I don't know. It's just so cool. My brain just can't. It's too much. It can't process it.
See, the thing with Gojo is that he can solve every problem. So I'm wondering how the mangaka is going to continue to keep him out of these conflicts.
Yeah.
I guess that's why I find it so interesting, because he is so powerful that I'm like, where does his character go from here?
Yeah. I remember us talking about that the first time, how it was really bizarre to, in the first few chapters of the manga, be like, oh, this guy, they're literally the most powerful sorcerer. They're the strongest one. Here he is, and he's your teacher. You're welcome. And I think we were asking the same question that time as well. Like, yeah, where does, like, I don't want to be sitting around waiting for Gojo to die, but I don't know, like, I just don't know what they're going to do with him. So, yeah, I also have the same questions. But he is very
I guess,
cool.
like, on a more serious note, I guess Wing King popping up, I did not expect to.
Oh,
I know we saw him a little bit earlier, but I did not expect like a straight up fight with him, and then for it to be with blood.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's gonna be like he has like a leather outfit on, you know, as tiny as it is. So oh, he probably messes with leather, and it's like, nope, it's just blood.
Like how he makes his wings and stuff. Yeah. That whole section is very sad, I think, with the brothers and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
but I guess that's
our lovely duo.
Yeah, but I guess that's supposed to be one of the things that they're driving home, right? Is that curses are more complex than just, or that they can be more complex than just like people were scared of a thing and now there's a curse and we got to kill it. That it can go beyond that. So I did find it interesting though that I don't know if the anime embellished about like how they were created or if they just decided to do a completely different thing. Lou, you've seen the whole anime, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I am like missing 1 or 2 episodes, but you know, I'm trying.
Yeah. The way that they explain them being created in the anime is like there's like a whole huge explanation for the existence of these brothers, and I don't know if it's something that comes up in the manga later or if they just created it for the anime, and in the manga it's as simple as 3 humans were fed cursed things. I don't know. I'm really curious about that because I don't know, because the implication is different. Like how sad that scene was is different depending on like I don't know. I'm not sure how to say it, but
I think a lot of it has to.
Sorry. Somebody said
okay.
it is explained in a later part, but it's the same story. Okay, got it.
Cool. Now I regret not reading further even more.
Well, it's probably not going to come up until the other brother gets involved, right? Which we might not have gotten to anyway. So yeah, that's interesting. But in the manga, all that we saw was that they like kidnapped a dude, like took all of his clothes off and chained him up and then fed him a little weird like curse nugget, and then he turned into one of the brothers. And they had 3 jars, so we can kind of assume that they probably took 3 people and fed them curses, and they turned into the 3 brothers. So that's interesting, because other than like items like Sukuna's fingers, have we seen that kind of thing happen before, where it's like a curse that's been bottled and not exercised? Because these were the things that were taken from the school, correct?
Yeah.
During the exchange event.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen any other instance of that so far. But within the context of, you know, the lore of the show, I don't know if that's something that is something that occurs regularly or not.
Right.
You got me? So it could be that, you know, they couldn't destroy the curse artifact, so they had to seal it. Okay, well, we know that's the case with Sukuna's fingers, but we don't necessarily know, like, outside of Sukuna's fingers, how common of a practice that is.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess I took it as they're the more powerful ones. They can't destroy them.
See, that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
They don't. Because that's the way I read it, is that they don't have the power to just straight up destroy them. So instead, they just seal them up.
But I feel like they do have the power to exercise like Wing King in them. Like, if these 2 kids can do it, I don't know. I'm just very curious why they kept them.
It's so. Yeah. Well, and I guess because they kind of touch on wait, what's her name? Mai? Their names are so cool.
Mai and Maki. Maki, I think, is the one with glasses.
Okay, yeah. They talk about how, like, I guess, is it Maki? I'm confusing them because they look so similar because they're, you know, twins. But they discussed how, like, one of them specifically was way, like, one of the other characters underestimates her and is like, oh, like, I've been told my whole life that she sucks, that she's not good at anything. Yeah. And then she, like, just kicked her ass.
Yeah, it's so satisfying. I love Maki.
Yes.
And I'm so glad we got to see, like, a bunch of cool fights with her being, like, really on point. And also that Maki and Mai got to have even a shorter fight against one another. Those are the sorts of things that I would, not to keep talking about the anime, but those are the sorts of things that I would say really like bloom in the anime, because they give so much like breathing room in those fights that they're like really satisfying, you know, but they're still very cool in the manga.
I agree.
Yeah, and I'm assuming because everybody thought that she was really weak, and it was mostly because of like the family's like views, I guess, on things, and it's just like, well, she's a bad omen. She doesn't deserve to be a like level 1 Jujutsu user.
I don't.
And so I think maybe that's also another part of why like some of the powers or like power levels on some of the people feel off. I think, and so maybe, I don't know, it's like the special items might just the like people in charge just suck. They haven't allowed the people with like actual power to get rid of them to like move up the ladder, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That makes sense.
The
whole politics of everything.
Right. The whole reveal with Maki I thought was interesting. I was like a little disappointed at first, but it makes sense that like her power just didn't, she doesn't have the same kind of power that everybody else in her family has, right? Like she has power. She has like superhuman strength and speed, right? Was the reveal when she caught the bullet. But she can't just like naturally see curses, and she doesn't have cursed energy, which is what her family cared about. So even though she's like incredible in her own right, they were like, nah, it's not good enough. Right? You got to see demons or you're embarrassing. So
Yeah,
it's
well, and
yeah.
that's what makes me wonder if like special grade items can't be destroyed because they just haven't allowed people with different abilities to figure out a way to how to dispose of them without like messing up the world or something.
Mm,
So,
Or
'cause
maybe it
that's
could
what
be
I'm.
kind of like Sukuna, in that they need a vessel in which to process to weaken it enough to destroy it. So like
Yeah.
the whole thing
mm,
with Sukuna's, what Yuji is, all right, he needs to ingest all of these fingers for
right.
them to then kill him,
Mhm.
which would in turn destroy uh um like those cursed artifacts. So maybe it could be
Yeah.
the case of they're just waiting for a suitable vessel to come around.
Yeah.
This manga leaves me with so many questions. And the thing is, like, the only way I can answer them is based on like what's been presented so far. And I don't know if I'm right or wrong, and I don't know if the manga is ever going to actually answer the questions. And that's again another reason
Yeah.
why I want to keep reading.
Sure. Um Also, this section, I think the first time that we read Jujutsu Kaisen, when we talked about Nobara, I was like, yeah, I like her. She's aight. And now I'm like fully on her team.
Yeah.
She is the baddest bitch. I love her.
Don't mess with her.
Dude, don't mess
Mess
with
you
her.
up.
She'll fuck you up. I
She'll
love
beam
her.
you up. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like
She's pretty
saying that
cool.
we're gonna beat people up for her, but reality is she'll beat people up, and then we're just in the
We're just the
background,
hype
like,
men.
cheering
Yeah,
her
we're like,
on.
yeah, bitch, get him. Yeah, she's great. She really got to shine in this section. Like we had a couple of really, really good fights with her in this section, but I just adore the whole part with the brothers, with her just like, oh, you want to play chicken? Oh, all right, let's fucking go, right? I think her abilities at first, it was difficult to see, and I always appreciate this in anime and manga when this is the case, but like it was difficult to see the depth of what can be done with her power. And so it's cool to see that
Yeah.
now, to see her like really utilizing it in super cool ways. And that section specifically, I think, made me go, fuck, she's powerful, dude. She's great.
I agree, 100%. Like, this manga does a really good job of building up female characters that not only like are they of comparable strength to everyone else, like they're put front and center in this one. I think it does a really good job in that respect.
Yeah.
As a lot of other shonen manga kind of fall short in that area. Looking at manga like Naruto.
For sure. Yeah, that's been one of my big pitches for the anime is like, do you want to see not just one, but many very cool, well animated fights between just women? Check out Jujutsu Kaisen. It's fucking tight. I do like that it's not just, it would be really easy for it to also fall into the trope because we're doing the like, team of 3 sort of thing, which is very common. But typically, there's one person who's like always on the edge of losing it, which would be Yuji because he's got like this really powerful thing inside of him, right? And then like the 2 other characters that are stabilizers in some way, even in very different ways. And I like that, again, in this arc, in this like under the bridge arc, we saw both Megumi and Nobara like really just push it. Like, oh, don't worry, I can do crazy shit too. It was very awesome to me. I don't know, it made it so that everybody in the group is really unpredictable. Instead of it just being one unpredictable person, it's like 3 unpredictable powerhouses that are on a team together. And I loved that.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Hmm.
And I agree. Like it's an interesting dynamic where it's not just one person carrying, the full burden of everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's really hard to tell where this is gonna go and what it's like, how the team dynamic is gonna change over time. Because
Yeah.
it eventually is going to.
Yeah, it has to. Mm. How did you guys feel about what we've read so far of the like flashback stuff? I didn't realize it was a flashback at first. It took me too long. It took me. It took me seeing the dude who's like a bad guy now before I was like, wait a minute, is this a flashback?
I think it's all right. I prefer the other parts of the section that we've read. This section has a lot of Gojo, which is cool,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the same Gojo, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, he's not developed to the same degree. He reminds me a lot of Yuji.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are definitely some parallels there in terms of their understanding of their strength. I don't particularly dislike this section. I think it's good, but I definitely enjoyed the stuff that actually centers around our main protagonist.
Mm-hmm. I like that even if it was at the very end of our reading, I like that we've met, like Megumi's dad, who is apparently a sorcerer assassin.
Oh my, yeah. Oh my god.
And yeah, I know what you mean about Gojo, that he still comes across very arrogant, but it's like a young arrogance in this. So I guess in that way he's written well. It still feels like the same character, but just not quite. And I assume something is gonna happen in this flashback that like changes him in some way, but we haven't quite gotten there yet, aside from being stabbed by Megumi's dad. So yeah, do you guys want to talk about art?
Sure.
I know that Lou and I kind of echoed the same feelings of it looks okay. It's hard to say, oh, it looks amazing because the anime looks amazing, but
yeah.
But I mean, I think that it's clean. I think that it works. I don't mind it.
The art in the first 4 volumes that we read last time, I would say that there were a few panels that really stood out to me as being like, wow, this looks really, really good. There was so much going on in this section of reading that there wasn't really an opportunity for the mangaka to have some of those, like, really good, clean, full page panels. Like there were a few of them,
Sure.
but they weren't at the same level of quality as those full page panels in the first section. So I still like enjoy the art. I like the character designs. The only characters I confuse are characters that are blood related, so it kind of makes sense. But even then, it's not too big of an issue. Like I never really get lost in the reading.
I kind of, in some of the fights I do, because like I think sometimes the sketchiness like really works for it, especially like vibe wise, but sometimes it works against it. And there were fights like the one that's coming to mind specifically is the fight against Mekamaru and Panda, where I kept going, I don't know what the fuck is happening in this fight. I don't know what's going on in this fight. Oh, he's a gorilla now. And it's over. Wonderful. Like when it ended, I didn't even realize that it had ended or that like a final blow had been dealt. Stuff like that is difficult for whatever reason. Inside of this manga, I had difficulty like understanding the flow of the fights sometimes. But then we had fights like the big one with the forest spirit and Yuji and Toto, like that whole fight, where I thought everything, there were like lots of really cool panels inside of there, and I thought it flowed really well. So it's sort of hit or miss for me, and I think it might be because of the art, but I'm not totally sure.
I think like in regards to the panda fight, uh it I didn't really have that issue with flow, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I watched that episode not too long ago,
Sure.
like the episode of the anime. So I had a point of reference of what was going on in the fight. So like I breezed through that section, and I didn't really get lost. This conversely, the actual fight between uh, Yuji and Toto against that forest spirit, because of Toto's curse ability, that I felt was kind of like hard to understand in the manga.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because people jumping from place to place, and you have to pay attention to the cues, and then they throw in clapping, but the ability isn't being used,
Sure.
and it like that section got a little confusing. Um,
I will
but I don't know.
I will acknowledge that Sam and I actually rewatched that episode not that long ago, and that might be why. Since you said that you had watched the other episode not that long ago, and it probably helped you understand that fight, I'll totally say that probably one of the reasons I understood the Toto fight in the manga is because we just watched that episode not too long ago. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, and this is why I haven't I haven't caught up in the anime, because I prefer experiencing the manga first, and then hopefully the animation surprises me, because in my mind I may have read something completely different, and it turns out the animation is a lot different. But I think, yeah, I feel like this section for me it felt a little bit weaker. It wasn't horrible by any means, but it definitely felt weaker, and I feel like maybe it was the screen tones used, because it was a lot of straight up black and whites and not very good grays in between. I know that some of the text panels specifically use some really weird like black dithered effect to try and make it look funky. But it made it really hard to read, in my opinion, and it just made everything even more busier, which I think hurt some of these sections really badly.
But is that would be on the fault of the scanlators, yeah? Or
no, I see, I don't know. I'd have to like have a physical copy, because I'm not certain.
I mean, I read it on the Viz app, and
Yeah,
I
same.
could see, yeah, so I could see where that's coming from, and I would imagine that this is a big release for Viz, so they would, and they have they have to be careful about what they put out, because they have to maintain a good relationship with the publisher, like the original publisher. So I would imagine that whatever we saw was fairly consistent with how the manga was released.
Yeah, well, and see, that's the other thing about Viz. There's what they put up. Sometimes I notice that some of the pages that they put up aren't like, I don't know, they're not 1080p like quality. I guess they're I don't know. Maybe it's my screen, but it feels like when I zoom in, it does look a little bit blurry, which I think I had the same issue when I was reading Promised Neverland. So that's why I don't know if it's something to do with like the Japanese side of things, and then being like, we need it to be this way. And I don't know. But for what is up officially, it, like, I don't know, I feel like the grays were really lacking.
Sure.
So
Are you
it
reading
felt like
it?
a lot of
Oh, I'm sorry for interrupting. Are you reading it on your computer or on your phone?
my computer.
Okay, because I feel inclined to say that I'm reading it on my phone, and it may be that these images are scaled for that experience as opposed to reading it sitting at a computer.
Maybe.
Yeah, I haven't had any problems, but I also read it on my phone. Yeah.
And so
That would be weird,
so
though.
Yeah, and that's I guess that's like a gripe I have is like, man, that it really ruins it because sometimes I'm like, man, this looks like scaled down, it looks good. I want to zoom in and look at the details, and it's just like kind of like blurry
Mm,
for it being like an official uh source, I guess.
yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know. I'm just like, I wish there was better like contrast between the black and white for these sections because I think it would really help differentiate some of the things.
That makes sense.
But I mean, I still like the art. I still think it's pretty. Um, I just think if the grays looked a little bit different for the screen tones, I think it could have helped with readability.
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially since it kind of goes for more of like a raw style.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yeah.
Cool.
Were there any other parts in this that you guys wanted to make sure we touched on, or any characters you wanted to be like they suck or they're super cool?
Toto's pretty great.
Toto's great.
I think we said that last time, but yeah, no, he's great.
yeah.
He's a
like him.
fucking weirdo, but he's great. Again, I love that all of the characters, no matter how much you feel like, okay, I get this character, they'll have a moment eventually where you're like, oh nope, they're wild. I don't know what's going on with them. I'm still confused by, well, I mean, I guess we'll see them more again, but specifically if I was going to say the carpenter dude who was like, I'm going to turn people into coat racks. That guy. He felt like he was from a different manga. He seemed so strange to me, and he's not coming back. I'm pretty sure he was captured. So, occasionally, the characters.
Never know.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe he'll get to make his coat rack out of a person. I don't know.
After he escapes, because he was captured.
Yeah, sorry, Moe. Because me too. After I said that, just went. I know you can't see me. The chat can see me. Confirm or deny. The mouth just really slowly opened, but I couldn't hear anything. So it was very funny for me. Anywho. Okay, cool. We did it.
I felt like this section was really straightforward.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that I would want to say about this area either, so. Cool.
Okay.
Final thoughts and ratings, y'all. I don't recall what I gave it the first time.
I'm sure I gave it over a 9 last time.
You think so?
And I'm pretty sure I did. I really liked the first section, but I wouldn't give it that now. This section of reading, while it contains some interesting plot points and some good fights, didn't have the polish of the first section of reading, and that's unfortunate. You know, I guess it's due to the fact of this being a weekly release, and you know, the further you get into a release, the tougher it is to keep up. It's an endurance test, and really the only person who's good at that test is Oda. So, you know, can't blame the mangaka for like having things less polished and less cluttered, or more cluttered now. But I still had a lot of fun with it, and I'm super excited to continue reading so I can resolve this cliffhanger and go further into the story. Maybe get some more awesome fights out of the experience. So I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Avi said that Moeka and I gave it an 8 last time, and Lou gave it an 8.5 last time. So there you go.
Okay, there we go.
Consistent. I was going to give it a 9, I think, because there were a lot of things that happened in this section of reading that that I was really excited about, even after watching the anime. I thought that there was lots of like character development stuff that I really loved. And we got to see cursed speech used, which was tight.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Inamaki's great. I love
Right?
Inamaki.
I know. I like that he's not used super often, so that when it happens, you're like, ah! But yeah, I think just for the character development and the sort of story points that did happen alone, I would bump my number up. But I acknowledge that part of that might be colored by the anime and how much I loved this area, like this part of the story in the anime as well. But I think it's still valid. So yeah, I would give it a 9.
I think I would bump mine down to a 7.5. I did love what they did with the characters, but it did feel a little weaker than the first portion we read. I still enjoyed it, but pretty much what we've all already said.
Yeah.
More character development, please. I love it. I love these characters quite a bit.
Me too. They grew on me even more in this section. Like the characters where I was going, I think that I'm gonna like them, and characters that I was not convinced I was ever gonna like Nobara, and now I stand. So I don't know. I gotta give it where it's due. So
yeah, I think that character for me was the panda, because I was just like, what like, okay, he's just gonna be like every other mascot character, I guess. And then I was like, whoa, my dude has forms. Okay, I'm down.
yeah, I didn't fully understand when he said that like the core of his like sister form was destroyed. Can that come back or nah?
I think it can.
Okay, I hope so.
Yeah, I think
that
it
would be so
can.
sad.
I mean, I would imagine the person who put them together originally can go in and do some repairs.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, because he was like, the guy was like, your siblings will help you in the future. So I'm just like, I can't imagine they don't come back or can't be fixed.
Right.
I don't know.
I guess I was confused because Megumi's like shadow summons, if they're destroyed, right? But their power is like given to other summons. So I didn't know if it was the same kind of thing, since technically they're all curses. That like if it's destroyed, then it's just gone. But we might not know that yet.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it's a future part.
Yeah.
We need to stop speculating. We need to stop speculating.
I'm sorry. All right, cool. That wraps up our conversation, our discussion on Jujutsu Kaisen chapters 35 through 70. We all recommend it. And now we're going to read you a summary. Moeka, I believe, is going to read you a summary and omit some keywords. This is going to be the summary for the manga that we're reading next week. And we're going to let you try and guess if we've left a few words out. So don't cheat. Don't go looking it up. All right, Moeka, you have the floor.
Okay. Blank is a quiet high schooler who's been blank with the loud and energetic blank since childhood. They're both in the local blank and both have a natural talent for it. Although Blank's personality always prevents him from winning against Blank, the club teacher, however, notices Blank's talent and tries to make him gain some sportive tenacity. Sportive.
Sportive.
Yeah, I thought that word was weird.
I thought that maybe you meant to say supportive, but it's just sportive.
Sportive.
Yeah.
It is sportive.
Here's a hint. It is a sports manga. Yeah, I don't. It's probably not a good hint. It's probably pretty obvious with the word sportive in there.
I will say that it's my favorite. The anime of this, so it has an anime adaptation, is my favorite anime of that genre.
Eyebrow wiggle.
Sportive. Of or relating to sports and especially field sports.
Especially field sports. Interesting.
Yeah, I learned a word.
Does this count as a
Thank
I
you,
don't know
manga.
what counts as a field sport. Is this a field sport?
I don't think it's a field sport.
I don't think so either. There you go. Hint number 2. It is not a field sport. It's Cowboy Bebop. You got it. Good job.
Dang.
Lou, would you like to make the reveal?
Absolutely. This was adapted into an anime by Masaki Yuasa, and of course, sports anime by Masaki Yuasa. Of course, I'm talking about Ping Pong.
Bam. Ping pong.
Bam.
I've never seen the anime. I've never
Mr.
read the manga.
Tile got it kind of.
Dr. Kuro is encouraging us to read more Keijo, apparently. The only sports manga ever created. That's fine. We've read it, so you can go back through.
Did we read it? I know
previous episodes.
I
We
watched
did.
it, but I don't remember us reading it.
We did read it. It was interesting because in the Keijo manga, they have all of the like the boys that go to the school. You actually see what they do in terms of like maintaining the lands.
Right.
So yeah, there's a whole bunch of context that you get from that manga. It's weird.
Amazing. I love
But
it.
yeah, we're reading more Ping Pong, and we're reading all of it. So it's 5 volumes, 55 chapters.
Oh, sick. Tight. Let's
Oh.
go. So, any of you guys who are interested in reading the ping pong manga with us, do so. Come back next Sunday, and we'll be reading that and discussing it in the exact same format. And hopefully Erin can join us again. We're going to go one at a time and shout out our stuff and tell you who we are and how you can find us. But first off, I'm going to say, Erin, we love you. You can find Erin at Happily Erin on pretty much everything. Twitter, Instagram, etc. She's really into Thai dramas and talks about mental health stuff and anime, but also just self-published a book that is coming out officially on Tuesday. You can pre-order it now. You can do !Erin, E-R-I-N, in my chat and get a link to it. But it's called The Guardian by Erin Lee, and she's worked very, very hard on it, and we're super proud of her. So please go check it out and see if it's something that you would be interested in reading. You can find me at Dex Bonus on everything. I stream almost every day, and that's it. That's my life. So, so if you'd like to come hang out, feel free. Lou?
Hey everybody, my name is Lou, and life has gotten in the way, so I don't do much things online. Well, all right. I do things online, but unfortunately, they're all for my job. So any content that I make, I'm not going to be showing here. But that aside, I guess you can follow me on Twitter at Lou Talks Life.
Lou Talks Life.
Yes, I've broadened the scope of what I talk about because
I like it.
other topics have infiltrated, and now I don't just talk about anime. Namely Yakuza. Lately, I just finished Yakuza 6 last night. It was pretty good. It's pretty good.
Hell
I'm going to take a little break, play some indie games over the course of the week while I wait for the PS5 remaster of Judgment to come out. So I'll play that after, and then I'll eventually get to Yakuza Like a Dragon. Then I'll be done.
Nice. Hell yeah. Moeka?
Yo.
Moeka.
Hi. Hello, I'm Moeka Hoshisora. I go by Mega Moeka online. I do voice acting. I thirst over my anime puzzles. I'm a little laggy right now for my VTuber because my Wi-Fi is being dumb. But yeah, I stream usually Monday, Wednesdays, Saturdays, and I upload on Fridays to my YouTube channel. My streams are kind of all over the place. Sometimes I stream on Twitch, sometimes I stream on YouTube. On my About section on my Twitch, though, I have like a little scheduler that has it color coordinated, and it lets you know what I'm streaming, if I'm doing
nice.
it on YouTube or if I'm doing it on Twitch. Obviously, purple will be for Twitch streams, red will be for YouTube streams. I've been doing a lot of Minecraft because it's been doing really well for me. So
Oh, nice.
if you like Minecraft and VTubers, come check me out. I'd appreciate it.
Nice. Sick.
Oh, I guess you can find me at Mega Moeka on pretty much everything. I forgot the most important part.
It's
I'm out of practice.
okay.
Sorry, guys.
It's all good. It's all
That's
good.
cool.
Cool. Yeah, you can also check out MangaPod. We've got an Instagram, we've got a Twitter. We also have a Discord with some lovely people in it talking about anime and manga and all those sorts of things. It's also where you can find updates to our schedule and things like that. So if you would like to check that out, that would be amazing. But otherwise, I think that's it. Did I hit everything?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah.
Sick. Wonderful. Appreciate all of you guys watching. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week talking ping pong. And otherwise, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.